What's up everyone, this is your girl Drea, here bringing you another video. This time I wanted to talk to you guys about the HTC U11, which is one of the flagships that came out last year in 2017 and that I have been using for a while now. So this is pretty much a long-term user's review of the U11. I've been using this pretty much since it launched. It's been my main daily driver. So that's about 7 months of use now. And I wanted to give you guys my thoughts, my opinions of it, see how it stacks up against other flagships that came out last year, and whether I think this phone is still worth using in 2018. So before I go ahead and dive right into my opinions on the device, let's go ahead and give you just a quick rundown of the specs. Okay, so like other flagships of last year, we are running the Snapdragon 835 processor. Okay, and up top we see a 16 megapixel front-facing camera with an f2.0 aperture, capable of recording in 1080p video. Over around the back, we do have a 12 megapixel main camera with an f1.7 aperture, dual LED flash, and capable of 4K video recording. We've also got a 3000 milliamp hour battery, capable with a quick charge 3.0, and IP67 dust and water resistant. Okay, so diving right into my thoughts now, I'm going to start first with the design of the phone. Now, the first thing everybody always jumps on and picks on with 2017 phones are the bezels. Now, this phone is rocking a 5.5-inch screen, 1440 by 2560 pixel Quad HD screen, Super LCD 5, and to me the screen is just, it's great. It may not be as punchy as OLED screens, like the Galaxy S8, for one, I think has the best display of any phone. But this phone certainly does get bright enough, the colors are vibrant enough for me, and I think it's really just beautiful. And in terms of those bezels that everyone picks on, for me it's not really a huge issue. I don't mind bezels on a phone. You know, it's just, it is what it is. And I think the phone overall looks great. I overall love the design of it. Flipping it around back is just so wonderful. You've got this really vibrant color here, this glass back here, very reflective. You could see me right there. Hi everyone. So I think it's a beautiful device. Let me go ahead and wipe it down for you. Very fingerprinty, as everybody usually says. So yeah, it's just a gorgeous device, and I mean, design is one of those things that's completely subjective. You know, there's no right or wrong here. Everybody likes different things, and for me, this is one of the most beautiful devices that came out last year. I just love everything about it. I love the back. Like, that just tells the whole story right there, that beautiful color. This is the amazing silver, which, let's be honest, is not silver at all. It's blue, more like a powder blue. The solar red option was not available when I purchased the phone, but I think even if it was available, I would have probably still chosen this amazing silver color. I just love the way it looks. Very reflective. I do use a case on it though, because of all the fingerprints, and also because of, I mean, it's pretty fragile of a phone. It is glass, and I don't like walking around with a glass phone, glass back phone, because of course it's glass. If you drop it, it'll break. So I definitely do recommend using a case when you have this device. That being said though, the build quality is amazing. I mean, HTC in general always has amazingly built phones here. And this one is no exception. It feels good in the hand, everything about it. It's just a wonderful looking device here. Okay, so moving on, what else do I like about the phone other than the design? I mean, the software. This one is using HTC's Sense UI, and I think this is a very nice software. It is a little bit outdated in terms of how it looks. They haven't changed much since even the M9 a couple of years ago. But overall, it works really well. It's really fluid. No hiccups at all, no lag at all that I've experienced in the past 7 months. Just a really great experience. And for me, before this phone, I was using a Nexus 6P from Google. And of course, those phones always use stock Android. And I'm a really huge fan of stock Android. I don't really like skins that are too heavy. So I do like the HTC Sense because it feels like stock Android. You know, there's no hiccups, there's nothing. HTC has really trimmed down their UI in the past few years, so they don't have duplicate apps. You know, there's no HTC App Store plus the Play Store. They've just got the Play Store running on there. So I really like that they've done that, and they pretty much, you know, go toe-to-toe with Google in terms of their software. And updates has also been really great. You know, again, coming from a Nexus device, the one thing I thought I was going to miss was those constant updates that the Google phones always get. But I find that HTC has been really great about updating their phones. Of course, not as frequently as Google does with their Nexus and Pixel devices, but that's to be expected. This phone did come out of the box with Android 7.1 Nougat, and it has since been updated to Android 8.0, which came out probably a little over a month ago, somewhere early December, I would say. And I believe it was one of the first flagships to get that 8.0 update, of course, not including the Pixel devices, of course. So HTC has really been good about that on maintaining their updates and their security patches. So I can't complain about that at all. What else? Oh, talk about the main or the standout feature of this phone, which is HTC's Edge Sense. And Edge Sense is the ability to squeeze your phone to launch an app. So the way I have it set up is I can do a short squeeze to launch the camera. And in the camera, I could squeeze again to snap a picture. And a long squeeze, right now I have it set long squeeze to the new Edge launcher that came out with the U11 Plus. So the Edge Sense, I thought, has been a really great feature added to this phone. Now, there's a lot of debate going on whether Edge Sense is useful or if it's just a gimmick. My personal opinion, my experience has it, is that it's really useful. You can customize Edge Sense however you want. Going into the settings, just click on Edge Sense there. And then you can customize it, customize a short squeeze action, and you can choose any one of these. Edge Launcher, launch the camera, you can pull up the Google Assistant, take a screen picture, turn on the flashlights, and a few other abilities. And then you can also customize a long squeeze or squeeze and hold action. And that's how I have the Edge Launcher on there right now. Pretty much just testing out Edge Launcher since it came out. Previously, I just had the long squeeze to turn on my flashlight, which I actually thought, there it goes, you can turn on the flashlight with Edge Launcher. I actually like it better when I just had the long squeeze to set up the flashlight. I haven't really found that much of a use for Edge Launcher, to be quite honest with you. You know, I guess some people might find a use for it, but personally, I just don't think it was very necessary. It's just quicker to just go ahead and squeeze and hold, and then your flashlight's already on. So I really like that feature. You'll recognize it too. The Google Pixel 2 and Pixel 2 XL have a similar feature, but with theirs, they only have one action, and that's to squeeze it to pull up the Google Assistant. With the HTC, the U11, you get much more capabilities here. You can set it to Google Assistant, or you can set it to any app that you want to. It's even good to use in certain apps, like pull up Maps here, for example, and looking at maps, I can squeeze and it'll zoom in. Okay, and there are different apps that you can use it in. You can use it in Facebook, Instagram, you know, it's definitely helpful for one-handed use. If you're maybe doing something else and you want to get an action done, all you got to do is squeeze the phone. So I found this particularly helpful. It is a gimmick, but it's a gimmick that I like and that I found used for. And I really like it when phone companies decide to do something different, and I think EdgeSense was definitely something different, and hats off to HTC for doing that. And like I said, for me it's been completely useful. Over on the swipe right panel, we have the HTC Blink feed, and this is another feature that I really like about Sense UI, is the inclusion of Blink feed. You could set Blink feed to any number of news here that you want. So if I want to go and search for politics, I can do that, and I get all my news on politics here. So it's very helpful to me. I know some people don't use it. If you don't like it for whatever reason, you don't have to use it. You can just go ahead and disable it. So that's great. It's not really in your face. I believe when BlinkFeed came out, it was with the M8 or M7, I'm sorry. And back when they first did it, there was no option to disable it. So it was very in your face. You had to use it. But now HTC has made it more customizable. So you can either use BlinkFeed or you could not use BlinkFeed. It's up to you. Okay, so those are the software things that I really enjoy about this phone. Again, no complaints. You know, when you use a phone, you look at reviews, you use a phone after the first couple weeks, and it works great. It's very snappy. It's a brand new phone. But after some time, you tend to see maybe some lag or some apps crashing on you, and I really haven't had any issues with the U11. So definitely great with long-term use in terms of the software and everything. Going on to the camera, the main 12 megapixel camera has just been pretty amazing. Clear photos, very nice color I found, good dynamic range, and I really don't have many complaints when it comes to the camera quality. I've been taking this phone with me everywhere on vacation. I went to Jamaica a few months ago and took some beautiful photos there. So I think this is one of the best cameras. It's not the best smartphone camera out right now, but certainly up there, I would say, in the top 5 camera phones. It just takes beautiful photos. Doesn't have a dual lens camera, but to me, dual cameras are a gimmick. I don't think a phone really needs it to take good pictures. Case in point is the U11 and the Pixel 2, which is, I believe, the best camera phone you can find on the market right now. At least for Android, it's the best camera phone on the market right now. So, my opinion, both of those phones have single shooters, and I mean, the pictures tell the whole story. So I don't know why there's this huge focus on having dual cameras. As long as a phone takes good pictures, I don't care whether it's a single camera or a dual camera, to be quite honest with you. Yeah, so the pictures have come out good, and here are a few samples that I have taken with. So that was just a sample of some of the photos that I have taken. So you can see that the pictures do come out really clear, really sharp, great focus. I use it mostly in the automatic setting. I'm certainly not a photographer by any means, so usually I just use it as a simple point and shoot camera. The camera does have a pro mode, however. Okay, if you do like messing around with the settings and changing it to your liking, that option is available as well. But generally I always, or mostly, use my phone in the auto setting, And yeah, I really like the quality of the photos, and I think that for the most part, the colors do come out true to life, very accurate. Sometimes the colors can seem a little bit washed out, but I think that has more to do with the lighting situation than anything else. So I'm pleased with the camera. The only downfall of the camera, I would say, is that in low light situations, when there's an extremely bright spot, like say a street light, then the lights do tend to get overblown, leaving you with just a big white blur on your otherwise gorgeous photo. So that's the biggest negative I could find with the photo quality on this phone. I do hope that HTC addresses that issue in the U12 that's meant to come out later this year. Otherwise, very solid performance. Again, is it the best phone on the market? No, that would probably be the Pixel 2. I would say is the best camera phone out right now. But HTC definitely holds its own, and a huge improvement for them over the years. Like I said, a couple years ago, I had the One M9 that really did not have that great of a camera. So I'm pleased that HTC have finally figured out their camera issues and have a really solid camera on this device. Okay, so moving on now, I'm going to just talk about battery for a little bit. The battery performance has been pretty stellar on this phone. No complaints here. You could ignore, it says 1 day and it says 1 day of use, 24 hours and 53 minutes. You could pretty much ignore that. I haven't really been using this phone that much in the past few days because I'm currently using my OnePlus 5T. But generally speaking, the battery performance has been really spot on this phone. I can get anywhere, again, it's got a 3000 milliamp hour battery, and I can get anywhere from 4.5 hours to 6 hours of screen on time, depending, I guess, on how I use it. So pretty solid performance there. The phone is optimized pretty well, so that even though it's got a smaller capacity battery, it does last through a full day pretty well. I usually charge it every 22 to 24 hours is how I charge it. And I usually plug it in with anywhere from 15 to 20% left. So I could even push it a little bit further if I wanted to. But yeah, battery life has been really solid. What else was I going to say on the battery? You know, the quick charge works really well. So I plug it in about an hour and a half, I got a full charge. So definitely really good there. Hasn't slowed down at all since I've used it. So like I said, I've been using it for about 7 months now, and I really haven't noticed any difference in performance in the battery. So again, in terms of long-term use, it does hold up on its own. All right, so the last thing that I'm going to talk about is the audio quality on this phone. Now again, this does have the dual speaker setup with speaker up top and then a speaker down below, which the one down below works kind of like a subwoofer. And audio quality on this phone is very nice, pretty loud, punchy sound. It gets pretty loud, it's nice to hear. I don't use it that often for external use, to be honest. I like to use headphones more or less, but I would say the audio quality is really good here. Let me just dive right into one of my videos. Okay, so that was just a sample of the audio, how that works there. I really like it. It's loud enough. It's not too loud. It's not as loud, actually, as I thought it would be. But that might be a good thing, because sometimes having volume too high tends to distort the sound. So I do enjoy the way it is. Moving on to the elephant in the room, there is no 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. And I think that's just something we're going to have to get used to. More and more phones are moving away from it. And this HTC is one of them. Their past few phones have not included the headphone jack, and I don't think we'll be seeing it again from this company. But even then, it doesn't bother me. They do include a headphone jack adapter in the box that I use. I use that mostly in my car when I'm plugging it into my auxiliary cable, and it works fine. HTC was good enough to include some headphones in the box, their own Usonic headphones with active noise cancellation, and the headphones work really well. They do work really well, and I do use these. So I'm not an audiophile. I don't have a pair of $200 Bose headphones or anything like that. For me, the headphones that come in the box are good enough for listening to music. And then if I'm not using headphones, then I'm plugging into my Bluetooth device. So for me, the lack of a headphone jack isn't that big of a deal. I have adjusted to it pretty quickly. Am I a fan of phone companies getting rid of the headphone jack? No, not a fan. But like I said, I think it's just something we're going to have to get used to. And the transition hasn't been too bad for me personally. If you are one of those people that must, have a headphone jack, then, that is something to consider. But it hasn't really been an issue here. Okay, so that pretty much covers everything I wanted to talk about. Oh, one more thing. I did want to mention about the 3D audio that's on this phone. So HTC did include, I believe, 4 different microphones up here. We got one up top, at the bottom, at the very top, and over on the back side. So we have 4 microphones located on this device, and that's really great for picking up audio, especially if you're recording on the HTC. So I really like that they included that. And I also like a feature that they included called audio focus. And it's the ability to really zoom in on audio. So for example, if you're taking a video, if you're at a concert or anywhere, you're taking a video and you want to focus on a particular sound source, you can do that just by zooming in on your device. So you could go to the camera here, and you can see, like, if you use a camera and you're listening to something, if you zoom in, see where that mic is going, that's the audio focus, acoustic focus, I should say, on the device. So that's a pretty nice feature, especially for people who do enjoy taking video on their device. Yeah, but that pretty much covers everything I wanted to talk about. So do I think that the U11 is still a relevant phone to use in 2018? And the answer is absolutely yes. I love this device. The few things I didn't like about it, it's just minor things. The lack of a headphone jack, the overblown whites on the pictures. Those are just very minor things. Another thing is that it lacks wireless charging. I don't think I mentioned that before, which isn't a huge deal for me, but it would be nice to see, especially since it is a glass back phone. It would have been nice to see some wireless charging on here. But yeah, overall, the things that I don't like on this phone are very minor in comparison to everything that I do like about it. I think this is a great device, and I think it's still worth it for anybody wanting to pick it up. Currently, it's going for $650, which undercuts a lot of the major flagships that came out last year. And HTC runs promotions pretty often where you actually get it for $599. That's how much I got it for, was $599. So I think the value is just amazing. And, there are some people out there who wait until prices drop before they purchase phones. So I think this is going to be a great option for you guys, especially in the coming months when the 2018 flagships start to release. And then I'm pretty certain you'll see the price of this phone go down even more. And I just think the value for this is pretty incredible. I love almost everything about it. The display, the battery, again, everything works really well. So I definitely think still a worthy phone to own in 2018. So that's my thoughts. Those are my opinions. But let me know what you think in the comments. If you own a U11, how has your experience been using it? Do you like it? Do you not like it? If you're still looking to purchase a phone, is this going to be an option for you? Would you consider using it? And what kind of features are you looking forward to hopefully having in the U12 that should be coming out later this year? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And as always, hit the subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all my videos. All right, so that was all. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.